Hello, fellow teachers. So I'm having a little issue here with Nearpod, and I wanted to show you guys a workaround, which is that Nearpod does not do animated slides, whether that's imported from PowerPoint or Google Slides or added into Google Slides via the add-on. So if I go over to Google Slides here, I've got this deck that I want to turn into an interactive Nearpod lesson. This was developed last spring during the pandemic when there was a debate in Congress about this left-wing initiative to cancel rent and why that may or may not have been constitutional. Of course, this didn't pass. The Congress is currently set up, but there is a slide in here that is sort of explaining to students who didn't really know, I realized, what left and right really meant in politics. So I introduced them as a sort of side theme to this discussion they've been having to this concept of the political map, which actually has right, left, authoritarian, and libertarian, and really helps to understand politics. So I sort of introduce it briefly here, and then there's an animated slide, which has a whole bunch of different elements on it. And I apologize that everything is very slow to load when one is screencasting, but obviously this is a confused jumble of stuff. But when you put it in Nearpod, it can't show all those things animating in one by one as I explain it to the student. So what this looks like, and it was initially, done via video. I made a video of it for the kids, but then I wanted to add Nearpod stuff. So you animate in these different things as you explain each point, right? This is what the left is, this is what the right is. That's what authoritarian and libertarian mean. And then you start saying, where does this come from? Well, left and right come from the French Revolution. So there's a little bit about the French Revolution. And then we talk about contemporary examples, or not so contemporary, but of authoritarian left, authoritarian right. And we talk about the libertarian right, Ronald Reagan, and libertarians in the United States, and then the libertarian left, namely anarchism, Emma Goldman, and talk about all of that. And then it's put in at the end, there's a little joke where it puts in this, which is obviously a joke political map. And you should ask the kids, well, what do you make of this? Maybe over some of their heads, but it's a good little extension for some who might want to discuss this further. So in Nearpod, this is quite unworkable because it just shows that slide. There's no way to actually get it to animate. So as a workaround, what I did is instead of I had initially, put in the Nearpod slides, using the add-on here, right, in Google Slides. But that's which creates a version of it in my Nearpod library, which is not what you're looking at here. It's just the slide deck, which you can play it or teach it from Nearpod, but to edit it, you would go back over into the slides interface. However, there's another way to put the deck in, which also doesn't fix the animations by itself, but you can work around it by importing the slides into a Nearpod native presentation instead of so this is the one that I made in Google Slides. This is the animation workaround, right, which I actually made in Nearpod by importing the Google Slides presentation from my drive via the file import function. So I made a lesson in Nearpod instead of a Google Slides lesson, then imported the Google Slides. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that this slide here, right? And instead I'm going to, that doesn't animate. And instead I'm going to put in a video of me actually screencastifying that slide with the animations. I'm going to close this out because it's just very slow with the screencast going. Okay, so here I am in my Nearpod native version. I'm just going to take out this slide. And then I'm going to add a slide in that spot that is a video of me teaching it, which I'm going to get from my Screencastify library. And I'm actually going to upload my video to YouTube from Screencastify and get it from there because I like YouTube because you don't have to worry about the upload size restrictions if you were to upload a file on your own. I don't have any videos of my own in Nearpod yet, but I like putting things on YouTube anyway for accessibility for ELLs, especially because you can edit the auto-generated English captions so that they're more accurate. If you have time to do that, or even the auto-generated is helpful. And students can also slow it down. I tend to talk quite fast, and there's research that shows that students are more engaged if the presenter in an educational video talks a little bit faster. It's probably too fast for some students, might be too fast for you. So you can slow me down on YouTube if you want to. So that's why I use YouTube, as well as to get around those import size restrictions. So I will be using YouTube to get my me teaching that slide into my Nearpod presentation, and then I'll just go right on to the various interactive activities, which unfortunately, once I've put this in, I'm going to have to recreate all the interactive questions that I had initially created in slides, because annoyingly, and I've got a support request in about this, Nearpod does not allow you to, it doesn't sort of create a library of your activities or question assets that you can access in different Nearpod presentations. You have to sort of recreate those, which is annoying. Just trying to get back to home here so I can show you how that is. Yeah, so I've got all these neat little questions in here. I'm going to have to recreate them in here. I can't just, be in my new workaround version of the slide deck. I mean, it's imported my slides from the Nearpod slides extension created presentation, but it's not, I don't believe the questions actually work. I believe it's basically just a screenshot of the slide, right? So if I go in here and preview it, yeah, I don't think, pretty sure this is not an actual student interactable question. Yeah, so like this is the student preview, but they're not seeing, like, this is not what the student would see. This is like a screenshot of the Google slide teacher view of it. So I'm going to have to recreate all these questions, which is annoying. Luckily, though, what I can do is just go into my slides add-on, and I can edit it within that Nearpod add-on feature and sort of copy and paste the text of all my questions and choices one by one, annoyingly, from there. So at least I don't have to retype it all, and I can just navigate between tabs and recreate the questions over here. Just kind of go boop, boop, tab over there, and this one, I think it's this guy. So I'm going to have to basically just delete that, recreate it, boop, and I'm going to make a, what is that, multiple choice slide, right? So I have to just completely redo all of this. I think that was a quiz. I want to assess them on it. Wait, is that a quiz? Is that a poll? Oh, yeah, that's a poll. Do that. Poll. And I will just paste in what I got from my slides thing. So, relatively quickly, I can do this with keyboard shortcuts. This is why I just really copied all of the answers. Isn't that interesting? So I guess that. I don't even know what that just did. Okay. Somehow copied the wrong thing. I think I must have copied everything on the page, like by doing that instead of the field copying it. That's what I want to answer. And so I just kind of laboriously rebuild my questions in this way, which you do not need to watch. So, and this question is a little bit thinky. I'm going to add a timer just because it keeps kids on track, but I'm going to give them like 2.5 minutes to do this because they're going to have to read all these kind of longish answers. So there we go. And it's self-paced. I'm actually not sure what those timers do in self-paced, but that's kind of outside the scope of this video. So if anyone wants to tell me in the comments, I'm sort of new to this software, just figuring it out and sharing my learnings as I learn. So that is pretty much it for my Nearpod workaround. I'm going to go ahead and make my Screencastify of my animated slides and put those in as video slides. back over here in Nearpod. Meanwhile, if anyone else has a brilliant idea for how to do a workaround, yeah, I'm gonna have to animate this one too, of the lack of animations in Nearpod slideshows, please let me know in the comments, and hope this was helpful.